Hey, what's up, Hope City Church? Glad you get to join me, whether you're watching live or you're watching later. My name is Auten, and I'm so glad that no matter what time it is, we get to hang out tonight and dive into a word that happened on Sunday. Pastor Eddie coming up to bless us with what the Lord laid on his heart. So I'm just going to recap real quick. One of the things I first want to talk about, now I wasn't there, you may have noticed I had to leave, but I did go back, watch the live stream. And one of the first things Pastor Eddie said, or that caught my attention, was, don't be offended by tattoos. Amen. Do not be offended by tattoos. I have 3 semi-large tattoos and 1 kind of smaller tattoo. I do not believe that you have to be offended by tattoos, and I just wanted to reiterate that for all you haters out there. No, I'm just kidding. But for any doubters or who had questions about them, I believe that my tattoos are used as a witness to other people. So I wanted to reiterate that first and foremost. But then another thing Pastor Eddie went on to say was one of the lines that he said was to enlarge the vision of your life. Okay? And so when I think of a vision I have for my life, right, I think that my vision is already pretty substantial. It's already a large thing, and to hear somebody say that you want to enlarge the vision, when I have a vision, I think of a huge thing, right? I think of something that's larger than my life currently. So if I'm going to enlarge the vision, I'm making bigger what is already a huge thing. So I want to, I should be focused on taking this even further and further and further, and enlarging throughout my life, and not stopping once I see something, right, in the supernatural that I want to see come to pass in the natural, right? So the largest vision I have for my life, or one of the largest, is that I want to be a senior pastor of a church someday, right? I've gone to school, right, and I've finished school, and I have, I've been a senior pastor even before Hope City, and before Gethsemane, right? I'm taking the steps, I'm getting the counseling, I'm doing what I need to do to make that happen, right? And so I then, transitioned out of my last church and took another job, the job at Gethsemane that turned into Hope City, and I'm really forever grateful for it. So these things are things I want to see come to pass. That, being a senior pastor is a thing I want to see happen. And I'm 25 as of this week, and I may not be ready to be a senior pastor until I'm 35 or 40. I don't know when that will be, right? Because if I was a senior pastor today, I'd get burned out pretty quickly, probably, right? But I want to see these things go larger. So what should I do as a person to see the vision of my life enlarged, right? I need to think bigger, right? What if I was the pastor of a senior church and I had multiple campuses of my church, or I was the world's next Billy Graham, or whatever it is. Not saying that that's the only way I can reach people, but that's what I think of when I think of enlarging my vision based on what my vision actually is. Pastor Eddie gave that example of the young man that he knew that started his own body shop, right? And he didn't really have the funds or the resource to do so, but by faith he opened it up, and this year he's on track to hit $250,000, right, in income, right? And so that's in his first year. I think Pastor Eddie said he earned $20,000, right? The vision has grown at that point, right? When you have more funds, you have more resources to do the things that you need to do, you can grow and you can get out there more, right? So in my personal life, this is what I got from this portion of the message. I have come into resources, and I have come into relationships where things are readily available for me to be able to expand and enlarge my vision and ministry and whatever, and expand the kingdom, right? There are things that happen when I step out by faith, knowing that my vision will be enlarged. Make sure I don't want to get ahead of myself. So yeah, the growth of my life has just been exponential, just like it was, for that young man who started his own body shop. The next thing I want to talk about, and this gets me every time for some reason, whenever somebody talk about finances or whatever it is. Because I like to make money. Money is not a bad thing. Increase is good. Amen. But through my first year of mine and Emily's marriage, we were borderline broke, and it sucked. And I don't want to be there ever again. And so I've caught myself, thinking about, being where I am now and thinking about where I was then, right? Of, making jokes and saying, well, thank God I'm not in my first year of marriage, and I'm not, and that's a blessing. But it's not something that I should take lightly. It's not something that just happened, right? I'm not in my first year of marriage because the favor of the Lord is on my life, not because I just was grinding and I worked, got it out the mud type of a thing. I can't believe I just said that. Half of you probably don't know what that means, but yeah, I'm not saying that I started from the bottom, now I'm here, but I shouldn't be making jokes about that, because being poor isn't funny. It wasn't funny when I was there. It wasn't funny when me and my wife were both unemployed for a month, and I didn't know how I was going to pay the bills then, and just suddenly on a dime lost my job because the company couldn't support all of its employees. I got laid off with a huge amount of people. Okay. The majority of the people. And so I would say things like, man, I'm glad we're not, where we were, or, when we bought our dog, I was like, well, if we were, first year marriage, we couldn't have had this dog. There's no way, or whatever it is, I just don't want to be making jokes about my old self and bringing that into my vocabulary, because it's not who I am. It's not where I want to be. It's not who I want to be. And God's brought me out, and I need to focus on the blessing that He's given me and my wife, because I want Him to see me through this blessing onto the next blessing. I don't want Him to see me to a certain point and then only think about what happened back there. You know what I'm saying? Then the next part of my, oh wow, I'm out of time. Next part of my 7 and 7, what I wanted to talk about was I won't read it for time's sake, but Proverbs 10:22. A little later on, Pastor already brought that up. It said it talks about how the blessing of the Lord is a supernatural power, right? It doesn't, like I said before, these things, blessings, don't just happen. The favor of the Lord doesn't just happen. These are supernatural things that occur so that I don't have to be where I used to be, whether that be in my finances or in my ministry or in my job or in my relationships or whatever. Supernatural power come upon your life, right? It doesn't come to take away. It doesn't come to bring sorrow, right? It comes to increase, right? It comes to bless. These supernatural power, the power of God comes on your life to bless you and only bless you, right? It comes on your life to see you through wherever you're at. And once you're through, you're not going back through. Once you're through, that's it. The door's been opened, you walk through, and now it's closed, okay? Because you're not going back there anymore. There's a little bit more I wanted to go into that right there, but that's my time for tonight, so I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for watching. Watch the rest of our 7 at 7s. Join us on Sunday at 10 a.m. for service. I can't wait to see you guys there. Love you all. Be blessed.